Hello, everyone, and welcome to our season 4 premiere. I am your storyteller, D&D Jordan Lee, she, they pronouns, and welcome to Ampistrano. It is so good to be back. We are so excited. And yeah, I'm giddy. Anyways, why don't we do a quick go around of who we are and who you'll be playing today, just because it's been a hot minute. And yeah, and then we'll get to announcements and then the fun of it all. So let's start with our newest cast member who rocked her interlude, Mots.
Hello. I heard that and my brain decided not to introduce myself. It just said, okay, it was Moz and was just watching. Hi, I'm Moz. You can find me everywhere it's Mozzarella, and I'm so excited to play Ostani.
Yay. Let's jump over to Sin. You are muted, love.
Hi, I unmuted myself. I'm Cynthia, resident sunflower person of the he and they pronoun, and today I will be Rory Still, much to Deodora's sadness, for at least a little bit longer this season. Your resident tabletop gaming player and producer person doing the things.
Love it. And let's jump over to Fair.
Hi, I'm Farron. I'll be Deodora Shadeson, who is going through it. I do stuff and things online. I don't feel like going through all that right now.
So valid. So valid. We are so excited to be back. This is gonna be a very exciting season full of twists and turns at every venture. Before we get into the game proper, I do want to say a very heartfelt thank you to Lynn, aka Gremlynnart, who did all of our artwork, as well as especially Astani's. We're super excited, as well as the incredible and lovely Pandora Macabre, who did all of our overlays, our intros, our outros, our stat blocks, which you'll be able to see in just a little bit too. They look absolutely incredible. So please go and follow Pandora. She's one of the mods of the channel. Hopefully she's getting some sleep right now, because I know we were up late last night checking to make sure that everything was working. So yeah, thank you so much to Pandora. Other just quick little housekeeping is please go support us on Patreon and YouTube. We are going to be kickstarting our Patreon again after taking some time off, but starting next month, aka next week, you can ask by becoming a patron. You can ask questions to the cast. You can get access to a number of the playlists. You get advanced news, and it helps to support the cast and keep this channel running, as well as the show, all of that stuff. So please consider checking that out. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Anyways, yeah, that's really it. The other thing is just our content warnings, just as a heads up. Ampistrano may contain intense themes and descriptions, including but not limited to death, darkness, deep bodies of water, drowning, heightened levels of stress, descriptions of injured or slain individuals, ghosts, spirits, monstrous creatures, hallucinations, visions, possession, existential crises, complex and complicated relationships, missing and kidnapped people, grief, regret, and possibly romance. So please stay safe as you travel beyond the veil and prioritize your well-being. All right, y'all. And with that, once I finish fixing our lovely captions, I think we'll be good to go if y'all are ready. Okay, so let us go beyond the veil of Ampistrano. On a small hill amongst the rich farmlands surrounding, we find a great tree, the last standing in what once was a great expanse of forest and wood. It rises over the fields, twisted and gnarled with roots that go deep into the earth, overlooking the many homesteads surrounding, offering shade to those who need it after long days of work in the fields, plowing and cutting away to sow new life. It's marked in several spots of sweethearts, promising love stories, carving themselves into the wood, whether true or as a reminder that their lives and fables were here and have meaning, along with scars of less pleasant moments long gone. A fleeting memory in the long life of a tree. A tree whose leaves have all but turned various shades of reds, yellows, purples, and in this particular case, brown. A brown, dried, and brittled leaf is plucked by the passing cool autumn wind, flying over the fields surrounding the capital city of Jorix, the city of crowns, passing through many farmlands and their plots of apples, pumpkins, corns, and pastures where cows, sheep, and horses lazily graze, weary farmers and their working hands beginning their work for the day. It twirls amongst the wind, flying past the lower districts before crossing by the erudite quarter. Large stone spires pierce the skies of the local colleges and universities where young bards, wizards, and even druids go to study. We can see at this moment professors quickly grabbing their morning coffee before heading off to class. The newest, I say in parentheses, of these buildings is the fabled Museo, a structure perfectly placed between the different colleges with a series of long sets of stairs and ramps for those that may need it. A keeper of history. Neighboring this is the Colosseum District, named for the large Colosseum in the center where many a tournament or show of, adventure decides to come and battle it out, either with each other or with monsters from all over Ampistrano. The Crown's Guard are more present here as well, finding home. Currently, we can see several are set to either begin their day running their perimeter checks around the city of Jorix proper, while several weary ones head in after a long night to file their report of the evening. Another gone. Missing, as whispered on the wind. The Grotto, an expansive marketplace where all over Ampistrano and indeed the world come to trade food, clothing, and other supplies. A rich and luscious treasure trove. In this moment, many of the stall and store owners are quickly putting out the signs for the day. One shopkeeper placing a rich river of dark blue cloth material with silver accents onto a pristine shelf, while another in a neighboring stall cleans the wooden stand, keeping an eye on the hill where the produce will be arriving any moment. The leaf then brushes up against the second-story bedroom window of a slightly leaning tavern before settling on the windowsill itself. A large sign in front of the building reads, "The Crooked Chimney Tavern." At this moment, the sun is slowly peeking its head out from a blanket of gray clouds, likely going to be another overcast day. Chilly too. We find in this moment movement in this room, as probably just as the leaf is brushing up and kind of making a slight noise, possibly stirring the large blink dog who's currently been asleep on the bed with Theodora. Theodora, why don't you take a second to kind of describe yourself since it's been a minute? And as you're kind of waking up, newly arrived to Jorix, you just arrived yesterday after weeks of travel and weariness on your bones.
I think Theodora wakes up begrudgingly. Like, it's more her circadian rhythm and habit that she's waking up so early rather than her actual want to be up early. And for once, she's normally is a morning person, but lately she just hasn't been. So it's kind of just like with that, wakes up, and it's that definitely like, I don't want to get out of bed, so I'm just gonna stare up at the fucking ceiling until I absolutely have to move. Because depression. But Theodora, you see, she is she's a short, like, femme person, dark skin, dark hair. She used to have dreadlocks, but has since shorn them off and is letting her hair grow back in. So she kind of has like this, like, kind of like short curls close to her head. Like golden brown eyes. And yeah, she's kind of just curled up next to Sparky, her blink dog, and just like, again, I don't want to get out of bed right now.
Sure. Can you roll a d12 for me, please?
D12?
Mm-hmm.
11.
11. Okay. And a d4 with that.
3.
3. At this moment, Sparky is kind of hearing whether you want to be awake or not, and not wanting to get up is kind of, I think at this moment on the bed and kind of licking at your fingers of like, just giving you a morning hello. And as you look up at the ceiling, while you're not in the grandest of taverns, it's been pretty comfortable. You don't hear your upstairs neighbors. You don't hear, in this moment, even the carts moving outside. It was a little overwhelming when you first got into the city, with all the different sights, sounds, smells even. But you're able to kind of fully relax in this room. And as you look up at the ceiling, you see that it shifts, seemingly almost sensing your mood. The room stays dark, clouded, and every now and then you can see what looks like almost golden kind of thread moving through the clouds. And you realize that your room is kind of mimicking a rainy day, minus the moisture dropping down. It's a little bit cooler in temperature, a little bit more cozy. Seems like it is almost trying to reassure you and give you comfort, even a little bit longer, maybe singing a siren song to keep you in bed. You've had a long time of traveling, and that weariness has definitely settled in, both physically and mentally.
The weariness I feel isn't physical.
Mm-hmm.
Because Theodora's used to long treks, training for hours, days at a time. Like, it's not a physical weariness that she feels. It's definitely just a mental and emotional one. Like, her body feels fine. If she had the energy, like the mental energy, she could just get up and go run around the city right now, or at least run out into like the woods or something and hang out.
Sure.
But she doesn't want to do that right now.
Kind of looking back, did Theodora sleep really well last night? Or was she up most of the night?
I don't think she slept very well. I don't think she has been sleeping very well. She misses the comfort of her friends. We're no longer here, not because they passed, but because they left.
And I think at that moment, Sparky kind of gives you a playful nip on the fingertips, trying to make sure that you don't get lost in that thought too much.
Definitely like give him a scritch behind the ears, you know. Definitely trying to take the comfort that he's offering. But I think it's like at this point he has kind of become like her emotional support dog because she's like, this has just been her mood for like weeks now.
And as you kind of scritch, you feel kind of vibration on the bed as doing the very dog thing of when you found the right spot and kind of moving. You kind of hear like some light panting as they're just fully enjoying the moment. There, present, and with you. Have been with you since you started off on this journey.
And right now, they are the only one left in a way. Because Blackstone's here, but not here. And that makes it even harder. Because even though Rory's nice, she doesn't really know him that well. Not like she's known Blackstone. So she feels very lonely. Outside of Sparky, obviously.
What would you say the state of this kind of small room would be? There's the main bed that you're in. There's a little dresser, and then like kind of larger kind of wardrobe that opens up that currently may hold your stuff, maybe out of sight, plus the window, which at this moment, if you were to look out, you can see the expansive grotto. And then in the distance, you can see kind of a portion of the docks and then the ocean.
I don't think the room looks particularly like anything. I mean, I only been here a day, so not much time to live in it. And I think Deodore's just, again, it's that like almost like military like kind of habit of keeping things neat, making sure all your stuff is put in place, you know, like, so it, even though it is like, I would say it's a room and so it's not hers to begin with, so it has still has like obviously like the decorations that it came with, but I think like if you were to look at it, and it kind of if she wasn't in the bed with Sparky, if her stuff wasn't in the wardrobe, it would like this room was still like available for rent, I think, because it's just that neat right now.
Sure. Theodore has always been one of, as you've kind of mentioned, scheduling and having a system in place. And you're finally in Jorix. But that weight is definitely weighing on you of that cost. Over the last couple of weeks, and indeed you and I will explore this in your interlude, but what are some of the kind of inner thoughts that Deodora has had over the last 3-4 weeks, traveling from the undead town through the rest of the river, which for the most part, minus a hiccup here and there, was pretty smooth sailing, all things considered, before arriving in Jorix, this large city, and going from perhaps an oppressive kind of silence to now hearing and feeling everything.
It's been a lot of regret and blame of put on herself, not on anybody else. Just, we used to have this crew and they're still alive, but just can't help but think I should not have insisted that we take this route. We should have just gone directly to Jorix. This is my fault. And of course they would leave, because why would they stay?
I think as that thought enters your head, or you're kind of reminiscing, maybe you're not. Again, Sparky at this point starts to kind of pitter patter his feet against the floor, as you can kind of hear. You have two doors. You have one that leads to kind of a joint bathroom, an ensuite between you and Rory's room. And then the hallway of the tavern itself. And you can hear very lightly people are getting up and starting to move around, and Sparky is starting to kind of pick up on that as well. And he'll kind of look at you before, like, sinking down almost into a crouch, almost looking like he's about to stretch, and just launching himself on you and just giving you lots of kisses and lovings. And 1 minute he's on you, and then pop, he blinks, and the next thing you know, he's on top of the wardrobe, perhaps overshot where he was trying to blink a second earlier. And so now the wardrobe is starting to teeter a little bit. Making enough noise to pan the camera over to Rory. Rory, why don't you take a second to describe yourself?
Rory is wearing layers of linens, their standard red scarf, and a hood carrying, well, what would be carrying someone. And beside him is Corbin in the form of a penguin.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly not in anywhere that is like remotely native to the climate that a penguin would be in,
Mm-hmm.
but a penguin all the same. But the clothing hangs somewhat loosely, hiding various things in their folds, scrolls, daggers, other small implements. There is a bit of a walk that Rory is on, I think subconsciously influenced by Blackstone's time in the city, visiting familiar sites and looking for things that feel remotely familiar, or seeing how things in the town have changed, because that's the thing that large cities do. They change here and there, but not really.
Sure. I think Corbin in this moment, in his little penguin form now, you see him kind of slowly waking up, and he's in the little kind of satchel, the little trunk that you got him back in Illipin all those months ago, which is at this moment fully decked out. You see it a little bit more closely probably than you've had the chance to before. So it's one of those, to give context, it looks like one of those like American Girl doll trunks where you put all their clothing. This thing pops out. There is a runway for him to walk. There are a couple of mirrors for him to try on various outfits. There is what looked like a flap or kind of pocket. It actually pulls out to like this large bed with a small window with, in this case, it looks like it is showing the icy tundra. And you just see him in this moment. He seems to be trying to put on some kind of bow tie.
I
Trying to match.
take a moment to look at him doing all of this. And reach into, I brush against his mind. You know, considering the ritual that has taken place, you no longer need to do this. You can just be in whatever form you would like me to.
And I think he at that moment was like, seeing what would look good. He literally pauses and does the slow head turn in your direction. Are you about to deny me fashion?
The amount of fashion accessible to you currently is infinite and would require me to carry a lot less if you did not require actual clothing.
Is it a problem I want the good things in life?
I am a scientist, Corbin. I am not Blackstone. I do not understand these emotions you were talking about.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you could come up with a formula to hold more of my shit.
You know something? I have just such a one. And Corbin poofs into the ethereal plane.
I think you hear for a second this little voice in your head go, well, that's just mean.
I slowly like roll up the case carefully.
Mhm.
Well, he does have a point about one thing. Perhaps I can figure out how to make this ethereal like he is, so at least it weighs less.
True.
I'll add it to the list.
Doesn't seem like he's gonna pop back anytime soon. He seems like he's in either a proper timeout that you have now placed him in, or he's giving you a timeout from his presence. So what?
I think Rory's steps ultimately lead him to the school that Blackstone went to.
Okay. And that's, I think. So you're leaving, you're going to just dip and go out to go explore? Or
Like just like essentially, I think that's how they've spent the last few weeks, is just spending mornings wandering the town.
Sure. Your old stomping
Being
grounds.
being relatively inconspicuous about it, but just wandering the town.
Sure.
Because there's been a lot that has happened and a lot to think about. And more importantly, the weeks have seen him becoming increasingly more concerned about Theodora for the most part. I think for the others, there have been the occasional check-ins, the sadness that goes with partings, but I think in a lot of ways, Rory's a little bit more familiar with people leaving than with people staying. And the person who is left is currently very sad, not for any fault of his own, but because he is Blackstone's maker and not Blackstone.
Sure. And it's not like, to kind of from Rory coming in, it's not like anybody left with animosity in their hearts. There was a job that needed to be done. It was done. But oftentimes when something is completed, that's when reflection and the question of, do I really want to be doing this? Is this too much of a burden? The life of an adventurer, the ones that Rory and many others have read in the books that have surrounded libraries or told by campfires or through shadow, are definitely not as glamorous as it seemed to be, as it's a give and take. And everything comes at a cost.
I think those kind of lessons are a little bit more resonant with Rory in a way, which is probably why it on the surface looks like this doesn't quite hit them as hard, because that is the time that they came from, when the town that, you know, like the nation of people and the town that he loved became literally a ghost town. and like the price of having to like deal with the stuff that they have seen is unfortunately a little bit too familiar of a thing.
What are some of Rory's kind of thoughts over the last couple of weeks? Getting to really know Theodora, not just from the kind of brief cinematic recording that Blackstone kind of left. Observations on the situation, or even feelings too.
Most of the feelings are concern that at some point, you know, Rory understands that research and things like that take time. Rory is also concerned about trying to figure out a way to, I guess hoping that things that Blackstone has gone to look for resolve themselves sooner rather than later before it breeds some kind of actual resentment, because that's a concern. And also being like, well, maybe given what we know about Theodora, maybe like a proper night out with some more upbeat or possibly rowdy antics might be good for her, as she has been a little bit distant, somewhat withdrawn for all of that time.
Sure.
Also thinking about how to use the knowledge that he has access to through Blackstone about what is happening in Jorix, especially in the lesser known places, that they might be able to go, hey, Theodora, this is a good idea. Because player note, that is actually a feature that my character has in their stat sheet. So trying to make use of that. The other thing is, I made a being to deal with a time of war with a particular function, and they have become so much more than that, which is good. That is how I built them to grow and to evolve and become. But what they've become isn't a thing that's just important for themselves. It's also now important to other people, significantly so. I don't think when Rory built Blackstone, that he would think of anybody other than him being able to grieve if something happened to him. But now someone is. And that is a ponderous thing for him.
I think as you're pondering, and every now and then hearing little bits of Sparky coming through that, again, a kind of adjoining door. So clearly Theodora may or may not be getting up, or Sparky is just up to their...
Probably at the end of their walk when they return to the inn, and it's just kind of like, I hear the scuffling happening.
Yeah, just like, wakeies. At that moment, you actually hear on your door, the door leading from your room into the hallway to the rest of the tavern. Excuse me, is this the room of what's the note? And you hear kind of like some fumbling beyond the door. Right. Blackstone, by chance.
I kind of walk up behind them as they are trying to talk into my room door. Were you looking for me by chance?
Okay, wow. As you see before you, it looks like a younger kind of Crown's Guard. They're wearing this, since you're in the city proper, the Crown's Guard attire is almost like this golden kind of plate metal atop a kind of crimson tabard. has his kind of helmet tucked underneath one arm, kind of is lazily kind of leaning against it as he's holding this large piece of parchment. This person before you can see that they are a air genasi. They have very kind of pale skin, and their hair you can kind of see is this kind of long kind of gray that ombres into kind of hues of purples and blues, and it's always shifting. It kind of fluttered when you scared them really quickly before kind of settling back down. They have eyes that are just white, almost voidless, kind of staring at you with this kind of expression. They look like they're in their probably early 20s, probably newly out of the academy. So beginning those trainings of learning the ranks of the town and starting to understand, passing missives, not doing anything that's more complicated for the Crown's Guard. You would know this having been in the city before. And you can see actually the small kind of emblem on their left side, which I'm not going to make you roll a history check. Looks very similar to what you saw living in Felk. It's a minor color distinction of a pin. And in this case, it looks like it's a small raven with an arrow caught between its teeth. And you can see that it's holding what appears to be an arrow of kind of like a dark kind of navy blue, signaling, hey, this guy's new. This guy's new. More often than not is going to be one of those carrier Crown's Guard of laying the land. Right. Probably not a good idea. And you see him puffing out his chest a little bit. Probably not a good idea to sneak up on a Crown's Guard.
Well, if it helps, I wasn't sneaking. But I digress. I believe you have a message.
Yes. I have a... And he quickly, again, holding his helmet, moving the parchment aside, dips into his kind of bag that you see. It's a messenger bag as well, before pulling out what appears to be a sealed envelope. Missive from the Ascidian Gate.
From the Ascidian Gate?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
No.
Oh, did you want me to read it now?
I'm just giving it to you. That's all I'm doing.
Ah, I see. And your name is?
My name is Elivor.
Ah, well met, Elivor.
And he kind of just gives you the letter, kind of looking at you really quickly. And
I just notice and just step to the side to let them pass.
Okay. Have a good day. And you hear kind of the marching of metal as he quickly kind of walks off to do his duty, seemingly getting ready as you, with your passive perception, seems like he's going to be heading towards the kind of cloud top district, which is where the rich people live, the nobility, to hand some kind of missive to a Duchess Taverna.
Duchess Taverna? Okay. As they leave, I just quietly note to myself, I feel like one of the things that I hope the new recruits are still learning is how to be more aware of their surroundings. Goodness knows what would have happened if I were a scoundrel. Well, let's see if, she probably is, but she will probably dislike it. And I knock on Theodore's door.
Perfect.
I think Sparky answers.
And as Sparky answers, we're going to move the camera over to Astani. Astani, you are have been awake. You're probably a little tired. This is just after your interlude, after handling the creature that seemed to have been breaking through the veil line thread. Given this new task by Keeper Reyna, as you're kind of moving down the hill of the Temple District, because the way that Jorix is kind of set up is it's almost like tiered, built into the landscape. The lowest kind of levels being the port, the graveyard district, the grotto, etc., the farmland. Then it's tiered up where the temples are above, kind of overlooking everything. Now, whether by design, which is probably more unlikely the case, nobility rise on a kind of higher ridge from the temple. And then up even higher is this massive castle where the king and his family live. And that's also usually where a lot of the parliament, wanting to be more of the safer kind of areas. It's harder to get to those regions as you typically need a specific kind of pass to get by. But as you kind of descend down the hill, seeing many of the temple keepers, other priestesses, clerics, paladins, or even just kind of similar to your temple fledglings, learning the ways, are all sort of waking up and starting to move around, beginning their day. What are some thoughts entering Astani's head? And if you wouldn't mind describing them, as it has been a minute.
Ostani is asleep in their larger bed. They are a centaur with almost reddish black hair, very thick and combed. They stand, of course, very tall when they get up and unloosen a braid that has been wrapped around with satin bows. And as it comes down, these curls ripple. They are exhausted, and they even in that exhaustion, they're used to this ritual of waking up, doing this for the morning, resting, and then doing this, again every day. So the first thing that they do is wash their face and get to a mirror and think, in the reflection, see their pointed ears, their dark brown skin, their freckles that are over their face, and slowly put back this like cape of like beaded little jewelry in their hair that looks like water droplets. In the corner of their room, they have a telescope, a little astronomy section that they just chart out stars and constellations. But it's a little quiet, a little too quiet, and that means trouble. So as soon as that clicks for them, where are you, little thing?
And almost like appearing out of the ether of your pillow, you hear a little before you are just tackled with morning kisses. You can hear like the slight sound and vibration from the opposite wall, as even just that noise, and it being still very early, your kind of wall neighbor being like, Astani, please.
It's the morning. I can't help it. They're awake.
And why don't you describe your wonderful little pet as well?
I feel like it's been a couple years too. Their neighbor is annoyed, but
Yep.
What am I supposed to do when it's the right time of the day for them to be being active? So Osani is kind of trying to move around skillfully with their energy. It's I believe I need to find what I described really quickly because
You're
I
so
cannot.
good. I can, while you're looking for it, you can also see that there is a stained glass window, which is currently set to kind of seeing the fields of Jorix, your home. And you can actually see what appears to be probably two figures that are very familiar to you, that seem to be getting up, as you can kind of see the sun slowly rising off of this like kind of rainbowish pane rising into the sky slowly, as like the rest of the sky portion of the stained glass window is slowly turning to blue and then gray, kind of almost mimicking the sky outside to let you know what the weather is like, for instance. But that just little whimsy inside of home.
Oh, look, it's your favorite time of year. Look at that. Now, stay still. Where are you? And what you see of Sakali or Ahsoka is kind of white hair, almost fox-like, with the behavior of a cat and a dog. Like a tiny wolf with two horns, iridescent eyes, and layered scales that go down, that look like matted fur, but they're all iridescent with like a cloud-like tail. With their nose kind of looking up high, they're just trying to get a treat out as quickly as possible. But Ausani is pulling the treat away to be like, nope. Just a little trick, like, oh, here we go.
Does the twirls.
And then just does like a fake throw. Like, go get it. Yeah, that should get you for at least 2 minutes. And then we'll do their morning, just get ready and whatever it is that they would do after a very interesting morning.
Mm-hmm.
Their routine is probably a little off. Not because of the great beast that came through the portal. That's kind of part of the job. I think it is because of the missing person during the entire event.
Mm-hmm.
And in their journal, they're just writing down... They're trying to write down suspicious, but they don't want to put it into words because then it's out there in the universe.
Right.
But they're just put their name down. Could you remind me their name again?
Daria.
Daria. They just put down Daria and then a line underneath it, and they're tapping on their journal, just thinking to themselves, where were you? What were you doing this morning?
Yeah, they were not at all pleased that you had been chosen to go meet with Commander Chineal and represent the temple, the Veil of the Clerics, for this mission.
And then it clicks where they have to be. Oh, I'm late. Oh, and they start getting up, scrambling around. They're possibly like their back hooves is like almost tripping over, and they're just no, hold on. And they're trying to get everything put together. Nope. So no, I have to go to the room. I completely forgot. And just everyone settle down. Wait, I'm only talking to myself and you. No, you. In the bag right now. Get in. Okay. And then
Pokes his little head out.
do the wallet keys thing really quick and then out the door.
Okay.
As quickly as possible.
All right. Can you roll a perception check as you're walking out the door?
Yes. That's a 7.
Okay. You're in too much of a hurry as you're kind of wandering off, but you're pretty sure you got everything, including the compass that was given to you by Keeper Raina as well. And you know where you're going. Not that you've been there necessarily before, but you've walked by it a million times. It's the Ascidian Gate. It's in the Colosseum district. It is a bit of a walk. probably going to be more painful to come back as you're trekking back up the hill, but it'll be a nice morning walk for the most part. And as you kind of step outside, once you rise up the stairs that spiral, seeing that thread, the river of the Vale, still crystal clear. Doesn't seem to be glitching out like it was earlier. You see pass by the kind of rows and rows of people praying. While it may not be the sun in your house, people still find comfort. The Vale is always open as a temple throughout the entire day. It's just specific times of the day that it does its ceremonies. And you pass by a few that are praying. You notice too, it seems like, based off of your kind of passive perception, seems like the attendance has been up over the last couple of weeks as it's been getting closer to winter. And many of them appearing to be more disheveled looking. Clothes torn. A few of them sailors that just haven't been able to work because of stuff that's happening in the docks. To farmers and merchants. It's kind of in stark contrast to some of the other individuals that do come here that are of nobility. They're wearing fine clothes, seem to be well fed as you're kind of passing by. And as you walk through down the hill and stuff, you do see there are, between that kind of walkway of the temple district and the city proper, you do see as you're walking what appears to be several individuals that are kind of just off of the main path. That way they're not getting in trouble with the Crown's Guard. Can you roll another perception check for me, please?
Oh, this one's 21.
21. Takes you a minute because you're still like in that, okay, all right, I'm going to be late, but I know where I'm going. And so honestly, it's probably Sokali who catches your attention first because their head's dipped out of the bag. They're just watching everything. Their favorite thing is to watch and walk around with you. And you see that they keep looking behind you. And every now and then you can kind of feel the bag shaking as it seems like their tail is wagging. So the bottom of the bag is kind of shifting and stuff. Friendly, not in like a growling kind of way. But every so often, it's not constant.
What is it? What are you? And they just like turn to the direction that they're looking at.
You turn and you can see amongst, at this point, a number of the rows of houses and alleyways and such. You can see kind of peeking out from the side of a building, kind of the side of someone's face, small. Looks like this individual is about maybe 13. Smattering of dirt all over their cheeks. Kind of the look in their eyes is one that you've seen before of hungry. And they're kind of wearing these very plain, wretched kind of robes that honestly look like they're a little bit too big for them. Likely received it from one of the local temples as kind of a ration. The temples do try and give back as much as they can. You being part of the Vale, there's already the meetings of how you're going to help the hungry and those that may not be housed to get through the winter as part of those meetings. And you can see that it appears to be a small kind of tiefling. One horn missing on one side. Oh boy. Just kind of looking at you and smiles as soon as they see Sokali. And they go, not seeing that you've spotted them. They seem to be doing it to Sokali.
They just do the eyes of like, oh, okay. What are they like doing to do the symbol?
They're just holding they're just going but they seem to be, from your kind of perception, looks like they might have been trying to tail you to possibly steal some coins from your bag.
Well, Sunny's late, so they do this thing of dropping a couple of coins and then just goes to Sakali and snatch one back for me. I'll be over there. And we'll start we'll let them out of the bag and then hurry forward.
Sure. And you hear, I think, with your passive perception, even amongst the kind of ricketing of carts moving by and people calling for fresh fish in the distance and stuff like that, you hear what is probably a very reassuring noise. You hear laughter. And it seems like it's coming from that tiefling boy. And after a moment, Sokali rejoins you. Incredible.
Right. Now that you know that one, and I'm sure you know its scent, you will be able to get one to them whenever they need. Good?
Kali kind of licks your hand, and you can see almost with kind of the wisp of kind of wind or fog that's coming off of them, it almost looks like they're skywriting. And it looks like you get, what languages do you speak?
Sylvan, Common.
Okay.
That's all I have so far.
Okay. So it looks like this has been translated into Sylvan, but it is a kind of abyssal kind of name. But the Sylvan translation for it is, let's see. I had it and I lost it. Hang on. There it is. The name for it would be Witten. Little tiefling boy named Witten. Witten. Witten, and I think underneath it you might get like a snippet of scent from Sokali. Of they are one, like, and it smells almost like incense. So they are a regular in the temple district.
From the training and how much, the time they've spent with Sakali, they're just impressed. Amazing. Lessons are working, so wonderful. I am late though, so when I come back, direct me to them and we can talk to them. Oh, yes, that's what I was doing. And then turns around and starts going.
Incredible. And as you head toward the Ascendian Gate, I think now's an excellent time for us to take a break for a couple of minutes. So thank you all so much. Perfect timing as an ad is about to start as well. Reminder, if you would like to support us and what we're doing, you can find our episodes up on YouTube. We're also on Patreon, and we'll be back here too next Saturday if you have to skedaddle. But yeah, we'll be taking a break for about 10 minutes. So go get some snacks, get some food, get some drinks, and we'll catch y'all in just a few minutes. Bye, everybody.